We are currently witnessing a resurgence in Hermetic teachings, and at the core of this revival lies the 7 Hermetic principles. These 7 Hermetic principles are the laws that govern our reality. In modern times, they are most recognized through the book, the Kybalion, yet their origins are as ancient and enigmatic as the mystical figure they are attributed to, Hermes Trismegistus. There is much debate surrounding the true identity of Hermes Trismegistus. Contemporary scholars often regard this figure as entirely fictional, a product of Hellenistic thought compiled by what could be called an ancient think tank. However, modern mystics and spiritually inclined individuals alike believe that Hermes dates far beyond the Hellenistic period, considering him the transmitter and teacher of ancient wisdom to the prophet Moses, if not Moses himself, as early Kabbalists have identified him. It's important to note that these principles, while best preserved and transmitted through Hermeticism, originate from a universal and timeless source, transcending any single school of thought. These principles are 7 in number. First, there is the principle of mentalism, followed by correspondence, vibration, polarity, rhythm, cause and effect, and gender. The principle of mentalism declares that the all is mind, the universe is mental. This principle embodies the truth that all is mind. It explains that the all, the substantial reality behind all outward manifestations and appearances in the material universe, is essentially spirit. And while spirit is undefinable, it is likened to the infinite living mind, for mind and spirit are considered one and the same, interchangeable terms within Hermeticism. Understanding this first universal principle of mentalism can enhance our lives by realizing that before anything materializes in the physical world, it is first shaped by the creative intelligence of the energy we know as mind. Therefore, applying our mental faculties is how we draw our creations into the physical realm. Next is the principle of correspondence: as above, so below, as within, so without, as the universe, so the soul. This principle conveys the truth that there is always a correspondence between the laws and phenomena of the various planes of existence and life. The old Hermetic axiom says, as above, so below, as below, so above. And grasping this principle offers a means to solve many paradoxes. Personally, I find this law especially helpful for gaining clarity because it suggests that by understanding our own nature, our own mind, and the world around us, we gain insight into what is happening in the higher planes of consciousness. Thus, studying the below allows us to comprehend the above, which is crucial for any seeker of truth. The principle of vibration states that nothing rests, everything moves, everything vibrates. This principle embodies the truth that everything is in motion, everything vibrates, and nothing is ever truly at rest. It explains that the differences between various manifestations of matter, energy, mind, and even spirit result primarily from varying rates of vibration. It is said that one who truly understands this law of vibration has grasped the scepter of power, for within this law lies the understanding that everything in existence is expressed through vibration. Different rates of vibration correspond to different realms of experience and creation. Therefore, by raising the vibration of our consciousness, we unlock access to the manifestations we wish to create, which resonate at that level of reality. The principle of polarity teaches that everything is dual, everything has poles, everything has its pair of opposites. Like and unlike are the same. Opposites are identical in nature but different in degree. Extremes meet. All truths are but half-truths. All paradoxes may be reconciled. This principle embodies the truth that everything is dual, everything has 2 poles, everything has its pair of opposites. As the old Hermetic axioms state, everything is and is not at the same time. All truths are but half-truths. Every truth is half false. There are 2 sides to everything, and it explains that in everything there are 2 poles or opposite aspects, with opposites being merely the 2 extremes of the same thing. For example, the Kybalion illustrates that there is no such thing as absolute heat or absolute cold. These terms simply indicate varying degrees of the same thing, which manifests as heat and cold through vibration. Similarly, light and darkness are merely different degrees of the same phenomenon, with darkness being the absence of light. Understanding this law of polarity can enhance our perception of the world, helping us recognize how opposing forces often act similarly in nature. Whether it's love turning into hate or deep care shifting to numbness, these are examples of how energy splits into polar opposites along a spectrum. The principle of rhythm states that everything flows out and in, everything has its tides, all things rise and fall. The pendulum swing manifests in everything. The measure of the swing to the right is the measure of the swing to the left. Rhythm compensates. This principle embodies the truth that in everything, There is a measured motion to and from, a flow and inflow, a swing backward and forward, like a pendulum. This law is crucial for interpreting what we observe in the current age, for without knowledge of the law of rhythm, we may fail to understand the cycles of redemption and return that are taking place. By understanding this law, we can see the larger context of what is happening, recognizing that all overarching themes are part of a larger cycle. With this knowledge, we perceive the inevitable pendulum swing within movements and consciousness. The degree to which the pendulum was pushed to one side will determine the intensity with which it swings to the opposite. This understanding allows alchemists to extract themselves from the momentum of karma and consciously position themselves in the pendulum's swing, neutralizing the effects of karmic cycles. The principle of cause and effect states that every cause has its effect, every effect has its cause, everything happens according to law, there is no such thing as chance. This principle embodies the fact that for every effect, there is a cause, and for every cause, an effect. It explains that everything happens according to law and nothing is ever by mere chance. This law of cause and effect is also known as karma, and it teaches that karma can exist on higher planes of consciousness, meaning the cause of what we experience as the effect may not always originate from the material realm. By understanding that there is always a cause and effect at play, we can improve our lives by responding differently to stimuli, thereby transcending the karmic thread. The principle of gender states that gender is in everything. Everything has its masculine and feminine principles. Gender manifests on all planes. This principle embodies the truth that gender exists in everything. On the physical plane, this manifests as sex, but on higher planes, it takes on more refined forms. Nevertheless, the principle remains the same. Everything and everyone contains both masculine and feminine elements. The principle of gender is invaluable because once we understand that we contain both masculine and feminine elements to varying degrees, we can use them for mental creation, just as masculine and feminine energies create life on the physical plane. By combining our masculine energies of thought and action with our feminine energies of magnetism and emotion, we amplify our ability to attract our desires, unifying these energies to manifest our creations. Now, what I'm about to reveal about these 7 Hermetic principles has never been taught or written about before. These 7 laws are actually one principle, one law, which emanates into 7 different rays, manifesting as 7 distinct laws and principles. They are all the same law, merely expressed in 7 different ways. You may need to meditate on this idea to fully grasp its depth. I encourage you to recognize these laws for yourself. Don't just take my word for it. Observe how these 7 principles interact and play out in every aspect of your life, whether big or small, within or without. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Before Hermes. If you enjoyed this video and would like to see more content like this, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe as we dive into the world of spirituality, consciousness, and esoteric knowledge. Infinite love and gratitude. God bless.